Yeah, I'm so happy for him. I think we made our debuts on the same fight card. He was literally in my changing room. We were on the same trajectory, winning our titles 1 month apart. So I'm super happy for him. I think he's one of those special characters who's going to be a Hall of Famer, no doubt.
Gonna have an amazing fight because I love Dricus du Plessis. He's a great human being. I have a great relationship with him. I have a great relationship with Hamzat also.
Dricus du Plessis recently offered high praise for lightweight champion Ilia Topuria, calling him a future pound-for-pound great and a likely Hall of Famer. In addition, Dricus reflected on the parallels between his career and that of Topuria, revealing that both fighters made their UFC debuts on the same fight card. Du Plessis noted the striking similarities in their trajectories as each climbed the ranks and secured title victories 1 month apart. He praised Topuria as a unique talent, pointing to his undefeated record in the UFC and the impressive power he brings to the division.
Yeah, I'm so happy for him. I think we made our debuts on the same fight card. He was literally in my changing room. We were on the same trajectory, winning our titles 1 month apart. So I'm super happy for him. I think he's one of those special characters who's going to be a Hall of Famer, no doubt. Unbeaten. He's the first unbeaten guy to have 2 titles. So I'm super happy for him, and I rate him very highly. And as an all-around fighter, and obviously striking power, knocking out 3 legends, I think he's incredible. And in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, in the UFC right now.
Responding to those statements, Ilia Topuria shared his excitement for the upcoming clash between Dricus du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev, predicting that the bout will deliver an incredible contest. He revealed that he maintains a strong relationship with both fighters and, speaking as an MMA fan, expressed genuine anticipation for the matchup. Topuria extended his well wishes to both men, stating that he hopes the best man wins on fight night.
Possible, we're gonna have an amazing fight because I love Dricus du Plessis. He's a great human being. I have a great relationship with him. I have a great relationship with Hamzat also. But as a fan of mixed martial arts, it's gonna be a very exciting fight. I hope the best man wins, and I wish best of the luck.
Furthermore, Ilia states that he has a very brotherly bond with DDP. He added that DDP is a great human being, and he has great love and respect for Dricus.
Not tonight, but next time. I want to know who will win today. Let the better win tonight. Let the better win, doesn't matter.
Moreover, Ilia Topuria offered his respect for Khamzat Chimaev, describing him as a savage inside the octagon. He acknowledged Chimaev's ability to call his shots and finish opponents with intent, highlighting that when Chimaev steps into the cage, he's not there to win on points, but rather, he's there to end the fight. Topuria emphasized that this relentless mindset is exactly why he holds Chimaev in high regard.
He's the man. He's a savage. He calls his shots, he finishes his opponents. When he goes inside the octagon, you know that guy goes for the finish. He's not looking for the decision. That's why I respect Khamzat. So he deserves to fight for it.
On the other hand, Chimaev also shared his respect for Ilia Topuria, calling him an incredible fighter. Addressing criticism of Topuria's outspoken personality, Chimaev remarked that those who are bothered by the trash talk simply should not watch him. Having met him personally, Chimaev noted that Topuria is a very decent and respectful individual outside the cage.
Бой, ну, если все молчали бы, то такого интереса, наверное, и не было. Сам в жизни я встречался с ним, сидел и разговаривали.
Echoing those sentiments, Michael Bisping stated that every time he has met Ilia Topuria, the champion has carried himself with class. Bisping described Topuria as humble, down-to-earth, intelligent, and a pleasure to talk to. He praised Topuria not only as a great representative of the sport, but also as an absolute beast inside the cage.
I don't want to talk shit about Ilia Topuria because the man is awesome, okay? Every time I've met him, he's an absolute class act. He's humble, he's down to earth, he's great to talk to, he's very intelligent, he's good for the sport, he's a great ambassador, he represents 2 countries, fights his goddamn ass off, he's got excellent skills all over the place. So I ain't criticizing the guy, apart from the fact that for whatever reason, he doesn't want to fight arm and soul.
Moreover, Lucas Tracy also acknowledged Ilia Topuria's striking power, noting that he can send opponents to the canvas with a single punch. He praised Topuria's combination of accuracy and power, highlighting how he consistently ragdolls opponents with clean knockouts. Tracy emphasized that once inside the octagon, Topuria is nothing short of a savage. He also praised his ability to knock out top names back-to-back.
You would relinquish the bat. I'm the biggest fan of Ilia, right? I love how he carries himself. every interaction I've had, he's so respectful. He's obviously a monster inside the octagon. He's technically brilliant. He's a class act. He's awesome. He's awesome.
In the lighter weight classes and the marquee divisions, we are used to seeing KO artists at heavyweight, at light heavyweight, but we're not used to seeing KO artists in the lighter weight classes against the most popular fighters in the world back to back to back to back. Vicious knockouts. We're not talking Dricus du Plessis dropping Whitaker with a jab and following him to the fence and crumbling him up against the fence. We're talking like flatlining people. We're talking about putting people's lights out, sinking them to the canvas with one punch, ragdolling people with KOs with perfect technique. So that's entertaining. He's easy to promote because of it. He's also a really good trash.
Building on that, Khabib Nurmagomedov shared his perspective on Ilia Topuria, describing him as a good person at heart. Khabib noted that Topuria's trash talk is simply part of the entertainment side of the UFC, meant to build hype and engage fans. In reality, he said, Topuria is respectful and carries himself well outside the spotlight.
Вместо Конора Илья Topuria может быть?
Не, он хороший парень.
Да.
Пытается быть кем-то. Сразу же видно. Не, я не думаю. Интерес противостояний, стилей, там, бойцов, чемпионов, может быть. Но такого, знаешь, как нету. И Ислам тоже.
Возможно, да.
И Ислам тоже очень хороший парень. Не то, чтобы я, да. И Ислам хороший парень, и Топурия. Но это все они качают. Не они, а он качает. Я не вижу просто. Я не знаю, может, ты видишь.
Furthermore, Lucas Tracy stated that Ilia Topuria is a great entertainer, and his trash talking plays a big role in his appeal. He stated that Topuria's demeanor towards his opponents is savage, highlighting how he took pity on Charles Oliveira.
Talker. He gives great interviews. Every single Ilia Topuria interview is entertaining. And he's going up to Charles Oliveira at a stare down saying, I'm sorry this had to be with you. Like he's telling his opponent, one of the most dangerous fighters ever, I'm taking pity on you because I know I'm going to destroy you and you know it too. And I'm sorry, man. And he's genuinely sorry. And it's just like, what more could you ask for when it comes to having a sick champion? And also, like Makhachev, he's got a smirk of his own. He's sort of got that brother mentality as well. Big smirker, very smug. Ilia Topuria, always smugging and smirking on fight week.
Adding to that, Lucas stated that Ilia Topuria is a grappler's worst nightmare, drawing comparisons to Alexander Volkanovski for his ability to neutralize strong wrestlers. He explained that Topuria's knockout power sets him apart, making him a difficult matchup for grappling heavy fighters.
Grappler's worst nightmare, similar to Volkanovski, he's got the ability, because he's got this great grappling background as well, to mog these grapplers, and that ties into him being an MMA nerd's worst nightmare. Ilia Topuria is the dynamite KO guy that destroys these grapplers. That's why it's an MMA nerd's worst nightmare, because, you know, the MMA nerds are always going to pick the wrestler over the striker, and the grappler wins every single time. The pressure, the wrestling pressure. Ilia Topuria is just going to go out there and knock these guys out with dynamite every single time. And they hate to see the best fighter in the world be a KO guy, right? They want him to be a pitter-pat guy. They want him to be a Mateusz Gamrot, smudge him up against the fence, pressure wrestler guy. But no, it's actually...
In addition, the MMA guru drew a sharp comparison between Conor McGregor and Ilia Topuria, dissecting the subtle differences in their striking brilliance. While Topuria has made a name for himself by dropping opponents with raw power, particularly his devastating right hand, Guru argued that there's a distinction. According to him, McGregor wasn't just about power, but a master of precision, rhythm, and angles.
I was watching this McGregor sparring footage in 2015, boxing only. He was so smooth and fluid. I don't know if we have ever seen a more fluid striker in his prime. I agree. And he's less power reliant than Ilia is. Ilia's landing right hands on people, and it's really impressive. But other people have done that, they just haven't had the power of Ilia, you know? And he's landing left hooks, and it's his power that is insane, and his striking is insane. But McGregor was like finding the outside angle on like a jab of his opponent in the open stance, southpaw. Finding his head on the outside and then looping in a lead uppercut underneath the arm of his opponent. Like it was... Some of the stuff he was pulling off was kind of insane. I do agree.
Interestingly, TJ Dillashaw shared his thoughts on Ilia Topuria's dominance, stating that while Topuria is undeniably talented, he is beatable, and it is just a matter of timing and the right opponent. Dillashaw pointed to Charles Oliveira as a particularly difficult matchup for Topuria, describing him as someone who will not engage in the middle ground and will force uncomfortable exchanges. He explained that the key to defeating Topuria lies in maintaining range, mixing in takedown attempts, and using kicks effectively.
That no one can kind of have an answer for that.
Oh, there'll be an answer for it. It's just a matter of time and a matter of person. I think Charles Oliveira was the wrong matchup for him. Someone that's not going to play that middle ground. Like right here is where I don't want to be with Topuria. Right? I want to be here. I want to land my kicks. I want to be moving. I want to fit takedowns. Right? Even if he's got good wrestling, I got to be a full round MMA fighter to beat Topuria. I'm not going to beat him right here in this middle ground. This is where he's the best. Why be there? I want to be at kicking range. For me personally, I want to be someone where I can kick, because now like I'm this much further away, it's gonna be harder for him to get to me. I'm gonna move around, I'm gonna get him to grapple and make him tired. Not so much I'm even gonna out grapple him right away, but it's gonna slow down.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how that reacts.
Do not go punch for him in the first 2 rounds.
I mean, you can't. Yeah. No,
Do not go punch for punch with him.
And the reason why?
Because he's crips. He's amazing boxing.
Even
amazing.
if you are just as good, like Armin's a phenomenal striker and
not
wrestler.
this good.
Not this good.
No, Armin doesn't have.
Agreeing with Dillashaw, Rampage Jackson shared his own perspective on how to beat Ilia Topuria. Jackson highlighted Topuria's biggest vulnerability, revealing that head kicks are a key weakness in Ilia's game. According to Jackson, Topuria has shown susceptibility to high kicks and can be dropped by them, making it a crucial tool for anyone looking to exploit his defense.
I'm a big fan of Topuria, and I hate that I'm going to say this, but what he just said is 100% right, because what is Topuria's #1 weakness? Head kicks.
He did get kicked upside his head.
He gets dropped from that.
Yeah.
My thing is, if I was fighting a guy like Topuria with really good boxing, I would use the cover. Because look, he got a really good jab. Y'all pay attention to the jab?
Yeah.
He has a really good stiff jab. I don't know how much he sets the jab up. I see him with the...
Additionally, Rampage added further insight into dealing with Ilia Topuria's striking, stating that he would either cover roll or parry Topuria's jab. He emphasized that staying stationary against Topuria is a critical mistake, as the champion is quick to capitalize on any opening. According to Jackson, constant movement and defensive awareness are the keys against Ilia.
Me, I would always parry that jab, but then I would cut and roll, but there's no secret. Because if you just hold your hands up like this, he's coming and he's got good accuracy. He's coming in between those. But this right here is going to be hard. And the reason why I do the cover and roll because it sets you up for your counter. And that's when you punch, and that's when you punch back when they least suspect it, while they still throwing a punch. Most people, I don't give a fuck who they are. Most people, they punch.
Rampage continued his evaluation of Ilia Topuria, noting that he is a fighter who is difficult to bet against, no matter who his opponent is. He recognized that Topuria brings a unique style to the cage, and expressed that this seems to be his moment. According to Rampage, Topuria is in his prime and is performing at his absolute best.
Well, you know, I'm with Armin. If they fight each other, I'm with Armin on that. But Topuria, man, it's just going to be hard to bet against that guy. Of course. You know, based off his last 3 fights and what he's shown here, his wrestling and his grappling.
But Rampage, you've seen so many different generations of fighters. You've seen so many different champions. Is he that different compared to other things you've seen, or is it just his time?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen anybody boxing so neat and so crisp and so tight.
Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: he is a little bit smaller, and Armin is a bigger guy, and Armin's.
Moreover, John McCarthy commented on the growing recognition surrounding Ilia Topuria, stating that he understands why many view him as the best pound-for-pound fighter at the moment.
And I can understand why people are looking at Topuria and saying, right now, I think he's the best pound-for-pound fighter. In the end, it might not be that way, but right now it looks that way, and he is doing it in a fashion that is just collecting fans as he goes.
While McCarthy acknowledged that it may not ultimately play out that way, he emphasized that right now Topuria is making a strong case.
Fast Topuria has been going through his because he gets the win against, Volkanovski by knockout. Then he goes and he takes on the former champion in Max Holloway and gets a knockout against Max, which no one has done. So that's a huge, huge factor in saying something about, what kind of performance that is. Then he goes and he drops that title and he steps up in weight and he takes on the former champion in, Charles Oliveira. And you can sit there and Sarukian is saying all kinds of stuff about, should have been me and stuff. Well, I'll tell you what, you fought Oliveira.
Moreover, he also pointed out that Topuria is building momentum not just with his performances, but by steadily gaining a larger fan base along the way.
You look at it and it's a wave that starts building as far as this thing's getting bigger and bigger, more people are jumping into that wave to ride it. And he starts gaining more and more popularity, while Islam, he hasn't been super active. He's been as active as he can be. He gets the fight, like I said, it gets canceled as far as Saruki, and he gets Moicano, but that's not the fight people were expecting. And so they just look at it and drop him down. You can't ask anything more from...
However, just when the hype seemed unstoppable, Paul Felder dropped a brutal truth bomb. Paul criticized Ilia Topuria's stance on not accepting a fight with Arman Tsarukyan and potentially wanting to vacate the title instead. Felder expressed frustration with top fighters who, once they reach championship status, begin jumping between weight classes or avoiding certain matchups. He emphasized that when the UFC calls on a champion to defend, it is their responsibility to accept, as refusing to do so can stall the entire division.
I mean, the guy's the #1 contender, and to say that you would rather relinquish the belt than fight him is, come on, man. We're getting a little carried away, and we've talked about this before, where these guys in this generation of fighters, when they get to this top position now, are so willing to jump around weight classes and try to deny fighting guys. It's like, that's not how the guy's #1 and the UFC says, this is the guy, you're the champ, you're holding that belt. That's who you fight. I mean, it's just,
I agree.
If you're the best and he's not on your level and all this kind of stuff, then prove it. Just go out there and prove.
Paul further compared Ilia Topuria's recent moves to those of John Jones, suggesting that Topuria is beginning to follow a similar path. He noted that Topuria does not need to be pushed into a specific matchup because he has already established himself as a major figure in the sport. According to Felder, Topuria has reached a level where he could face anyone, and fans would still tune in to watch, so he should not be the one dodging.
I can only take him at his word at this point, but I hate it. I saw that and I was like, come on, man, here we go again. Now you got a champion who's just looking for the biggest thing, and it's like, look, the UFC is not going to try to put you in a position that's not going to be a big thing. And I think you're getting into a position, Ilia, where you are the thing. They don't need the other guy to necessarily be the thing. You're the guy that people want to see.
On the other hand, MMA Guru rushes into Ilia's defense, saying Ilia is not avoiding anybody, especially not Arman Tsarukyan. He stated that if Arman really had an issue, he would have gone after Ilia and UFC to make the fight happen.
They're not ducking Arman. Why'd you get so bitchy and loyal for those two? I don't. When Arman Tsarukyan's told by the UFC that he's not fighting for a title next, and UFC tell Ilia Topuria that Arman's not fighting for a title next, and then he whines and does nothing if he doesn't get a title shot next, that's Arman ducking, whether you like it or not. Arman should have been called out Pimlet, hardline stance, title elimination bout, but no. Still crying like a fat fucking bitch that he is. Fuck Arman, I hope he gets fucking slept out.
As the spotlight continues to shine on Ilia Topuria, the wave of respect pouring in from elite fighters and analysts alike underscores just how much of a force he has become in the MMA world. Whether it's praise or admiration, he's a generational talent whose rise is being watched closely. If you're as hyped about Ilia Topuria's rise as the rest of the MMA world, don't just watch from the sidelines. Hit that like button and subscribe while you're at it. And let us know in the comment section below what fight you want Ilia Topuria to take.